I used to think getting lean meant pushing harder. More workouts, more restriction, more suffering. And the crazy thing is, the harder I tried, the worse my results became. Then one day I realised something that completely changed the way I trained forever. I wasn't failing because I lacked discipline. I was failing because my entire approach was wrong. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through that moment when everything just slotted into place and I was able to start making real progress without it feeling like a constant battle. Anyway, if you're new here, I'm Tommy, and everything that I talk about in my videos are the things that I actually do to get in shape and stay in shape. And if you want my free lunch recipe, links in the description below. Anyway, less waffle, let's get into it. This first part is often where most men get things wrong. So you've decided that you want to pack on some muscle and get lean. What could be simpler? Just lift weights and eat a bit less. Job done. But you quickly find out that this only works for a very limited period of time. Then your progress halts. So what do you do? Well, some guys will carry on, try to eat even less and train more. Others will start doing some research to try and work out what they should be doing. And this is the next big problem. The thing is, when you start researching how to get lean, you find that there's 1,000,001 different ideas and strategies to try. Many of them conflict one another, and there's no way of knowing what is right and what is wrong. So what do? You try out the one that you think sounds the best. You give it a few weeks, but inevitably your progress begins to stall again. So what's the next step? Do you double down and try and force things to work? Or do you move on to the next idea? In truth, these may sound like the only two options, but in reality, neither of them is the correct answer. So what is? Well, I'll come to that in a minute. The confusion around what you should be doing is all part of the big merry-go-round that's designed to keep you stuck in exactly the same place. You get more and more desperate to succeed, and the more desperate you are to succeed, the more desperate the measures that you're prepared to take. More often than not, you end up spending money to get your hands on the thing that will finally get you progressing again. And then, when that doesn't work, you do the same again. I did exactly this. I just couldn't get lean. I'd get most of the way there, and then I'd start going backwards. It didn't make any sense. I kept trying different ways of eating, different training techniques, but I never got properly lean. My weight would yo-yo. Sometimes I'd have more muscle, but I'd get fat. Then I'd starve myself and get skinny fat. Honestly, I thought I was going mad. I'd wake up lighter one week and think I'd cracked it. Then 2 weeks later, I looked worse again. And the worst of it was, I'd see images of guys online that were in amazing shape, and I just used to think, if I'm doing all this and I look like I do, what are these guys doing? So how did it all finally click for me? Well, it started a little bit by chance when I started intermittent fasting. Now, what this did for me was it finally allowed me to start to take control of food. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't particularly lean at this point, but I just thought, hang on, I've been doing loads of really complicated things that haven't worked, and this is easy, and it's working. And before you click away, intermittent fasting was not the magic. I'm going to come to that later, but what mattered here was that for the first time, something felt sustainable. This was the real light bulb moment for me, because I began to think, what if it's not more complicated things that I need? What if it's that I need to simplify things? I looked at my workouts and I stripped out anything unnecessary. I stopped doing loads of extra fat burner workouts. This instantly made me feel less exhausted. I simplified my meals, and I've spoke about that in a lot of my other videos. I also looked to find ways to remove stress from my life. But this wasn't actually the big shift that got me lean. So what was? This is the whole point of the video. It was when I realised this that everything changed. I'd spent so long chasing that lean look, it had become a bit of an obsession, constantly trying to find things that would enable me to get a bit closer. But when I started simplifying my life, I realised I'd got it all the wrong way around. I'd been chasing being lean for years, but instead of trying to get lean, I chose to live a lifestyle where getting lean was inevitable. I wasn't trying anymore. I was just doing all of the things that I knew were right all along. Eating clean all of the time. Doing workouts that activated muscle growth, but then allowing for the recovery to happen so muscle growth could happen too. Prioritizing sleep, quitting alcohol, and just staying more active. Before, I was always trying to force results. Now, I just repeat simple behaviours. Before, everything felt exhausting. Now, fitness fits into my life instead of controlling it. The problem is, none of this is exciting, nor is it complicated, so nobody wants to promote it. But getting lean is just about doing all of these things on repeat and giving it time to work. There really is no rush. Most men in their 40s and 50s don't fail because of a lack of effort. They fail because they choose approaches they can't sustain. The strange thing is, getting lean became easier when I stopped making fitness the centre of my life. I stopped chasing shortcuts, stopped trying to force things, and just focused on building habits I could actually live with. Anyway, if you've made it this far, why not boing the like and subscribe? It really helps in getting this content out to more people like yourself. Anyway, I'm Tommy. This is Six Pack 50, and if you want to really zoom in on 4 of the changes that I made to simplify things and get leaner, I'd suggest that the next video that you watch is this one right here. Give it a click. Go on.